Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Challenger 2023 Spring. I'm Atlas, joined by Wolf here for the first time for a Challengers broadcast. We have absolutely no idea how we're going to go. We have never been in a situation like this where we have challenges to cast, and it's the two of us sitting on this desk. Anything could happen, Wolf.
Anything could happen. It's going to be a really interesting day. We have two matchups that, we got to check.
Yeah, I just need to make sure that the sky is
the barrier still
there?
there? Okay, it's still there. All right.
We held hands for a second, but we can't be doing that. This is a serious Challengers broadcast.
This is a very serious Challengers broadcast. We have two really important matches coming at you guys today. Both of them look like they could be one-sided affairs, but our second series, Bro versus D+. In LCK, we see Bro take games off D+. In Challengers, Bro takes games off teams randomly. D+ drops games to teams randomly. You never know what's going to happen.
And we also get to check in on whether Paul Bay is still flanking. He might still indeed. He might actually, we could do a draft, right? We'll draft and D+ picks all these champions. They probably pick Paul Bay's Swain, because he really likes that. And then they load in, and then he's a level 13 Akali, and he starts in the brush top lane or something like that.
He doesn't actually start as level 1 Swain until he dies.
Yeah,
but he never does.
Yeah,
and he doesn't kill anyone either.
No. He actually just flanks the whole time. He's not actually allowed to interact with the other champions at all.
He drops. He sees the enemy jungler on blue buff. He drops a ward, and he's waiting. Then he walks out. He's like, nah, I can't. I'm like, well, you're level 13. He's level 1. He's like, I don't know.
Don't know about that. It's not the right angle. You need to get the perfect angle in order to get there. That's our second series, though, this evening, as we're going to be beginning with Harmalife Esports' continued rise to glory. This is a team that has been more and more impressive, and Gen.G Global Academy have missed pace a little bit and have otherwise been struggling. They have got some wins here and there, though.
They have gotten a few wins, and I think their drafts have, been the most interesting out of any team. They try a lot of stuff. They do a lot of flexing. They played Silas jungle. They played Sejuani mid. They've got some really interesting ways to approach the game. Hasn't always been successful, but a team that you might see something unique with.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like they've taken a leaf out of the G2 book, but they're not that much better than their league that they can just play Sejuani mid and win. They play Sejuani mid and it doesn't do very much.
Maybe they'll play Kled if they're take a page out of the G2
yeah, there we go.
Maybe we'll see some Kled today. Probably not.
I was so confused about because I just haven't been able to watch any other leagues, right? I've just been only watching Korean League of Legends. So in my brain, all of the tier lists of champions that you're supposed to pick and stuff like that in my head, they all exist. And I go and sit in on that draft and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's wild.
Why? And it's back on the the patch that we were on forever as well. And so it's everything's solved. What is happening here, guys? Oh my god, it was very, very confusing.
Just
anyway,
briefly, a note on these standings. If Gen.G lose today to Harmalife Esports, both D+ and KT will be qualified for round 1 of the playoffs. Because Gen.G won't be able to prevent them anymore, even if they lost the remainder of their games. So that does happen. They're not going to be qualified for round 2 because we have the same playoff format in the LCK as we do in Challengers. But if Gen.G loses, D+ and KT go into playoffs at least the first round, no matter what.
Yep, because it means we will have got through this week, and the maximum that the other side can get to is 4 and 9. So very nicely done. Gen.G going to be taking the Rift up against Hanwha, and it's going to be a very difficult match, I think. I don't know, I don't know whether I feel silly or a bit of a savant for my lure pick for player of the split, player of the round, I guess, for round 1. But I've been really impressed with this guy.
I've been really impressed with him too. I thought it was a good vote, honestly. I think he's been.
I think your feisty vote though has really come through.
Yeah,
that's the one that's that you're gaining money on that one. Mine's in the blue. It's not great.
I feel like. We haven't seen Rahel popping off that hard for D+, and Hype has been, to me, the only other AD carry that comes close to Lure, as the rest of the teams have been playing more around their mid or jungles that we're finding success. So I do think he's at least a top 2 AD carry, if not the best AD carry in the LCK Challengers. Almost said LCK only. We're not there yet. But I think it's a pretty good vote. And I don't know if you're familiar with the meme with me and Valdez where we just say he's impersonating Samdi, the former HLE AD carry, because he has the same hairstyle and the same hair dye. I'm like, are you sure it's not Samdi? Are we sure that's not Samdi?
It may actually just be Samdi. We don't actually know that. We don't have it confirmed. Like, the DNA test hasn't come back yet. But after you mentioned that the first time, I did put in the paperwork to try and get that one.
We'll have to find out. Make sure HLE is not using Samdi.
Yeah. Rodog, by the way, Gen.G can theoretically make playoffs if they beat Hanwha here, but they need to just win everything.
They need to win everything, and then also all of the qualified playoff teams need to lose, or at least one of them needs to lose the remainder of their games so they can pass them.
Yep.
So very unlikely.
It is, yeah, it's not a great news story here for Gen.G Global Academy, but it all starts with this this first match, which is not their first match of the season, but it's the first match of today.
Match64.
And this is the one, it's going to be their first one that they have to definitely win to stay in playoffs. That's that's what we're going to get to here. Casting is actually going to be taking the first spot here for the top side of the map. Zest going to be on the bench for game 1. They switch them up almost every single game. I guess Casting won the coin toss. Winner Quid, Carpe, and Lospa. The Kips, yeah, Quid's playing, mate. He's there.
Yeah. You and I were discussing very briefly before the show, like, our thoughts on Casting versus Zest, and I think they're both really similar. I personally think Zest is slightly better, but again, it's hard to say. You know, the two players are swapping out nonstop, and I think this team has bigger issues than individual play in the top lane. As Lure, there he is, your boy.
Yeah.
Right in the middle there.
He does. It's
Samdi impersonator.
It's sort of the Samdi impersonation, but he doesn't have like the middle part going on.
Yeah.
You know, like it's still the same like orangey, like dyed hair situation, but it doesn't get there for me. It's not the right color. It's a bit extra orange, and it doesn't have the part.
The part's not right, but they both had the same, like, I dyed my hair a long time ago, and I'm not going to get it retouched, nor will I dye it back to black. I'm just going to let the roots grow in.
The one good thing about that, well, actually, one of the good things about this team is Rooster's haircut.
Yes, always.
Oh, it's just glorious.
He's just rocking it, man. And
he is.
He's not going to have to change it until he goes to military service. Like, he can keep that for many, many years to come.
What's Kermit saying?
He says Hanwha. He's a big Hanwha fan.
I didn't know Kermit was a Hanwha fan. That's
cool.
Yeah,
I mean, this iteration of Kermit, because I think Kermit low-key is a bro leaver. I think Kermit's actually I mean, based on the color, I think Kermit's a bro leaver.
Maybe Kermit is like a challenger Hanwha believer and then a bro leaver in regular LCK. Maybe that's what it is. He needs like an underdog story, but I guess Hanwha are actually like well and truly in playoffs contention at the moment, so I don't know. I don't understand you, Kermit.
You know that gif of Kermit like sipping the tea, you know? Yeah. I feel like he's sipping it out of a bro lever mug. You know, he's got the bro icon on it. He's just a bro enjoyer. That's his bro and brew, all right?
All right, that's his bro and brew. I like it. Winner versus Guon is going to be our key position, and I think this makes a lot of sense considering last week. Guon was playing out of his mind, man. That guy was so good.
He really was. Also, you know, you look at Winner's picks here, and two of his best picks, the Maokai and the Elise, is very unlikely to be able to play in standard drafting. Whereas the picks here for Guon, his undefeated Maokai is also there, but the Vi, the Wukong, these picks are much more likely to be playable in draft right now. So we'll see what Winner could do, because Sejuani, that win rate is third most. Not looking so great here, but of course Gen.G definitely lower in the standings at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, everyone plays way too much Sejuani is just kind of the thing. I think it's a default pick for almost everyone. And I think that judging players on everything other than Sejuani makes the most sense in my opinion.
Unless we have like a specific player like Clid, for example, we really do have to take a closer look at the Sejuani.
Well, I mean, if you omit Sejuani when it's Clid, then you just don't get any stats. So you kind of need to keep
Hey, his Vi is like 6-0 now.
Yeah, that's true. He's got a good one of them. Here we are into the draft, though, guys. Gen.G will be on the blue side this time around. They're going to ban Caitlyn and Heimerdinger. The Heimerdinger is an interesting one, but I'm sick of talking about it, so I'm not gonna. And there's the Elise. We'll ban Maokai next, and then an Ashe, or Ashe and then Maokai. Depends on which way you want to go.
I think they'll do it the latter, based on the Ashe coming through here first, and we'll see what Gen want to do in this last spot.
Does Gen.G do it? Does Quid do it? Does he just play the dragon?
I would love for him to, but based on the history of teams not playing it, I don't think he will.
Yeah.
But always have to consider is, wow, a targeted ban here on the Wukong. We talked about the champion pool of these two junglers, and Wukong, one of the ones up there towards the top. The Elise already gone. Does Maokai make it through? I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah, that's not happening. And Gen.G is setting themselves up for Sejuani first pick, so you know where we are. You know what life we're leading here.
And then Lure's gonna pick himself a Zeri.
Oh, what?
Okay, hold on.
Hang on.
Winner is getting a Maokai. No!
Oh, what?
And he's 2 and 4.
Oh wait,
it's his
I guess
worst.
it is 3.4. It is 3.4. So we do have to remember
that is true.
that Maokai has been nerfed.
That's good. A good point. Good point.
He's not the same.
That's
man, my brain.
But still, it's still Maokai's kid.
It's still, it's still Varus Maokai as well, and they don't even need to pick the Maokai here. They can pick Varus Karma and then last pick the Maokai if they'd like to, or even just pick Annie. Oh god. And then they can just play that as a bottom lane if they want to. They can flex it to mid lane. They can pick the Maokai afterwards, just have all of the easiest CC ever, and then win game.
It's pretty nasty what they can do. And I was surprised with the Sejuani pick coming through that they wouldn't just pick up the Zeri. Be like, all right, we're opting into this. Lure's a really good Zeri player. But gonna take the Varus, gonna try to get bottom side control. The Jhin feels like somewhat of a denial pick here because Jhin, Varus plus Maokai is insane, and Annie could be flexed mid. Don't like it for Carfe if that's not the plan, and they actually just think it's a strong lane. With the Sejuani pick, not as confident that way around, but they'll get the Renekton.
Yeah, I like Renekton here. Just pick something strong. And now I guess Hanwha, they either choose to pick the Maokai or they don't, but I think Varus Maokai does put Maokai back on the tier list somewhat, or they just go to what Guon just slaughtered kids on last time.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the Lee Sin just for that. Like, just because he basically blind picked it in their last series. It's not like it fit the comp or anything like that. It was just Guon. He just wanted to murder everyone.
He's got the Annie setup too with Varus as well. Like, there's a lot of CC, so it's really easy to hit your Sonic Waves if you have set up CC, but you can also then set that up as, okay.
Yeah, you really do need to, it's Lospa, remember? So
it is Lospa.
He likes doing that.
He does like playing some Blitzcrank or some Alistair, even when it doesn't necessarily make sense for the draft. Just not going to allow it.
As long as he doesn't play Pyke, I'm happy. Because that one game, that wasn't it. I wasn't a huge fan.
I hope they don't also ban the Pyke, but on that note, they certainly might if they're trying to just choke him out here with the choices that have been made so far. Usually get your support in the first 3 picks before the second ban phase.
Yeah.
He opted not to do that. And I wonder what they're thinking here. Karma seems like a pretty obvious ban in what we understand to be strong in the LCK. Still nerfed, it's 13.4, but
I wonder whether Hanwha just pick the Karma here. Because they theoretically could.
They certainly
if they
can.
want to lock Annie into mid lane and then counter pick top.
I think that the Spell Thief's Edge nerfs are not that impactful. Like, we'll see. I may end up being wrong about this, but I feel like you could still play a lot of these lanes because, yeah, you get your charges later, but you just back with the with the one lane that you just played, so you don't worry about the mana regen or anything like that. So
yeah,
Cassante, I know how you feel about that.
I don't like it very much, but I do like picking top here as well, given the fact that you can see Renekton. My brain went a little bit slowly. I didn't notice that I didn't add into my equation that Renekton had already been picked. So you just get a comfy matchup for Rooster up there, and then Gen.G lock in Jhin, Rakan.
Yeah, not a big fan of this. Feels extremely greedy for this draft. I mean, you have a good front line, but it's going to be really hard to clear vision this game. And you're also going to have problems in the laning phase if it's Annie, and they could also just flex Annie mid and then pick, Leona, who's available. Try to, like, really hard push that lane and look for engages. So the Akali will come through here. Let's see if Loki is willing to play the Annie into this, as Pantheon very popular in solo queue right now, but I don't think, I was gonna say, I don't think that's what you're looking for.
Nope. And Sylas into the Akali, something that we've seen many, many times, goes either way. I honestly kind of like Akali more in the matchup, but there's a lot of people that just enjoy picking Sylas into it and giving Sylas a melee versus melee lane. does allow you to get to things a little bit earlier. We'll see what he's going to be able to do there, though. Because I kind of would have liked Annie versus Akali. I think it's kind of fine. Like, you have a lot of stuff that you can just put down on the Shroud, and it basically still hits, you know?
Yeah, your early game is also insanely good, too, into the Akali. Like, the first few levels, you are going to be winning super hard, and you have a lot of threat with this Lee Sin. You can set up a stun for. The Akali is going to have a really hard time. But they want to play Sylas, and it looks like they mostly just want to play Sylas into Akali to steal the Akali ult, and stealing Renekton ult is pretty good.
Yeah.
Same with the Sejuani. This bottom lane is where I have my biggest concerns, because I think Lure... Yeah, Guwan's had a great performance recently, but I think Lure is the strongest player on HLE. He's a great Varus player. He has an Annie to play alongside here into the Jhin Rakan, which doesn't have a lot of synergy here unless you're really kind of turning and all-inning into this Varus, which can be very hard to pull off.
Yeah. And I also just like how easy Armorlife's comp is to sort of just make things happen in the mid to late game, right? Like, you drop a bear on someone, you fish for a Chains of Corruption, you know, you like just stand around an objective and fire off piercing arrows, all that sort of stuff. They don't have a lot of split pushing outside of Sylas, but Sylas is kind of fine if you want to play around 4-1 as well. Cassante, we've seen, is still Cassante in a lot of these situations, and you can separate a lot of what Gen.G wants to do. Like, Renekton wants to dive in there and, like, stick around getting damage with all of that AoE and things like that, wants those big Gore Drinker plays, but Cassante can just say no.
Yeah. So Atlas, are we gonna do, because it's about to be the time where we do the and it like shows the players. Are we gonna do the do together?
Yeah, we have to.
We think we can sync it.
I don't know whether we can sync it. We'll have to just see.
They did it yesterday. I mean, we have to keep up with them.
Well, they were doing it yesterday, but they messed it up for like the first 5 games. So
okay,
we've got 5 games to mess it up before we're in sync.
Okay, so we have like a little bit of leeway. All right.
Plenty of leeway.
Okay, good. Because I just don't want to be like, oh, Atlas is disappointed. Wolf messed it up. Because I notoriously mess it up. Of the 4 of us, I am the worst at the opening.
The most rhythmically challenged.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just have to say. I've sometimes messed it up, but I don't know whether it's like... Because Mao and I have been pretty on point every time, unless I've just completely forgot to do it, which has happened like once, I think.
Yeah, that's that has kind of been what happens with me and Valdez. It looks like we may have some sort of technical difficulty, considering we're still looking at this screen and we haven't gone in game yet.
No. This is actually the rest of the show.
Oh, okay.
The rest of the show is just looking at this screen, and we're just going to try and figure out what's going to happen. Hey, yo, same casters again. Yeah, we're exactly the same people from yesterday. Hi, I'm Valdez.
I see Chronicler Fanboy in the YouTube chat. I know it's you, Chronicler. We'll do with you too at Atlas at Wolf.
Thanks, Chronicler Fanboy. We appreciate it. Valdez! I was being Valdez. You can't be Valdez at the same times that I'm being Valdez. That's not...
The solo queue game I played yesterday, I played a lot of games yesterday. I've just been spamming Karma because I think it's so
Oh my god, that screenshot was so funny.
Oh my god, dude.
We're gonna talk about that at the beginning of this match. Right now we need to get ready for the timing, Wolf. Man, I'm like, I can feel that beat of sweat like coming down like the side of my head.
Don't mess it up.
Imagine if I mess it up after you like said that everything's well, like the speaker behind us as well is like a little bit quiet today. Like I don't even know. We'll be able to hear it.
I think we got this. We got this. These players are ready. They got the hot warmers or hand warmers ready. Everybody's warmed up, ready to go. Whatever was slowing us down is no longer slowing us down.
Or we're in a pause currently, and we're still. Oh no, wait. No, here's the music.
Here it is. Here it is.
Oh, are we gonna get there? YouTube chat, Twitch chat. Make sure that you're with us with the do-do-do. You need to send us all of your energy because we might mess this up. We really might mess this up.
It's gonna be tough.
Oh, I'm so nervous. Let's do it. Hell yeah! Why were you even nervous?
I only did 3 though. I think you're supposed to do 4, and I did 3. We were
almost,
but we were in sync though. They were in
good.
sync. I think I said 1 too few do's, unfortunately.
I only did the triple do in the first match yesterday in chat, so I think it's okay. You can miss a do or 2. It's as long as you do it.
I saw somebody in chat said it looks like a movie theater. It is actually a converted movie theater. That is the arena. It's actually really cool. It's one of the best. I think we've had all sorts of different esports arenas in Korea, and Lol Park is like the newest and best. But in terms of viewing experience, to see the screen, like I think this one is the best because it's like watching a movie in a movie theater.
Yeah, it actually, and like, it makes complete sense that it would work. And I feel like it should have been done that way for a long time. But it's actually really, really cool. Here we are, onto the Rift. For our first game of this best of 3 between Gen.G and Harmolife Esports. So there is no Karma in this game. There was a Karma in your game. Please tell everyone else about the champions that were around your Karma that you picked.
Let me open this up so I can actually actively tell you guys what I dealt with today. All right, so on my team is a Nunu jungle. I'm support Karma, mid Yasuo, top Yone, and Quinn is my 80 carry. That's right. But the other team, the 80 carry was Fiora. And Fiora's support was Vex. And the top was Anasis, their jungle was Yasuo, and their mid was Akali. And then my Quinn, which we should win this lane so easily, right? It's me, Quinn, versus a Vex and Fiora. I'm Karma. My lane partner, Quinn, basically just threw the game at level 2 and just continually ran it down. And then I became the only one who had money in the bottom lane. I almost sold my support item because I was like, I don't know, this is getting awful. But I'm Karma. It's not like you pick an AP, you know, support like Lux where you're like, I guess I'm AP Lux now. I'm selling the Spell Thief's Edge and we're going to carry this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But we did win, actually. Because
you did? You got there in the end?
Yeah, the Yone was
no,
also bad.
It wasn't 2 Yasuos because there was a Master Yi, wasn't there?
It was a Yasuo and a Yone.
No, on the other team.
Oh, on the other side, yeah.
You said Yasuo again.
So, sorry, Yi.
Yeah, Yi, Yasuo in Korea, they're basically the same vibe. As we're going for a bit of a dive here. Let's see who's going to be able to tank this one up. Looks like they don't want to go for it. As out goes casting, he's just dead. That's first blood going over to the Cassante. He'll grab a second one as well.
Don't dive the Cassante.
Yeah, Roosters are vicious animals, guys. As now Gen.G are also fighting 1v3. Dura's going to make it into the brush. Kafe finds the deadly flourish. Can he get the last auto? The answer is absolutely not. As Losper gets under his turret, and Guwon is going to let him live for now. This game's over, Wolf.
Yeah, it certainly is. So yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to focus on the game a little bit while telling you guys, but it was a Master Yi as the enemy jungle.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah, well, not in a ranked game.
In your ranked game.
Yeah, it was a ranked game. I just stuck to our Yasuo. Our Yone was not great, but I stuck to the Yasuo and he carried. So that was the end result. This is a double push into knock-up hits here onto winner after casting takes that extra turret. So this is well played by Rooster, to be honest, but there's a reason why you don't see a lot of dives onto Cassante, especially post-6, but even pre-6 here. Rooster played that extremely well.
Yeah, it was. It's just the fact that casting was down to 50% health. Like, if you're going to be the one to actually start that, you can't ever be at risk of taking 2 turret shots. So it was just a flub, just a bit of a flub there.
Well, now he's got chainmail at 4.5 minutes.
Oh dear.
So Renekton's going to do less than no damage to him.
Can Quid carry?
Maybe.
That's what this game's going to be all about from now on, is whether Quid can just, well...
don't you cursed him, Atlas!
Well, right now, he is baiting Loki. All right, we're going to try and get out of there. Nice little arctic assault onto Guwon, though. He's going to get permafrosted. Now Quid coming forward. He backflips. Can they get Loki? The Quid carry angle. The Quid, no, he's dead. That's a double kill for Loki. Never mind. Kingslayer's kind of busted, guys.
It is. Plus safeguard. And like, this fight could have been even cleaner if Duro was able to set up the stun the way he wanted to, but he wasn't quite able to get in there. As Gen.G were biting off more than they could chew again in this fight. But I think that the reason why Gen.G commit to this is because they're like, well, this game is probably over, right? We have to somehow win this miracle skirmish. As, yeah, Quid gets caught by Siren. Look at where Duro is. Like, he wants to come in there and actually catch the Akali. Still hits Lospa. And so the fight continues. And then watch Guwon here. He's like, oh, permafrosted. Oh, wait, I don't care. I'm going on to this. Very, very low Silas. And look at that tiny shield stage in the game.
Man.
It just doesn't matter. It's enough.
Oh, that's a tilter. And this is the thing. This is like, what, the 3rd tilter that we've had so far in this game.
Yeah.
For Gen.G. One in every lane.
It's a 2,000 gold lead at 6 minutes.
Yeah. Wow. This is colossal. This is a large amount. Like, so we could have possibly called the first failed dive a throw, right?
Yeah.
But we need to discuss terminology here for a little bit, because you could also call the bottom lane play a throw and the mid lane play a throw, but you can't throw that which you do not have.
Exactly.
And they didn't have the game after that top lane play.
Would you call Casante's Q3, like his final empowered Q, like a throw? Because I guess you could call the top lane play a throw if you like called it, like threw him back. I don't know if it's really a throw though, so much as
it's a
pull,
shove.
a shove, yeah.
Because it does the same thing as seismic shove, so I like to call it a shove or a flick.
Yeah, it's a flick. I think a flick is basically the best way to put it.
Yeah.
A flick, a knockback, right? But like that's too many syllables.
Yeah, no, it's too hard to say. I think the flick's the way. A flip? No, but I feel like that, then you're like, is Casante a gymnast? Is he the one that's doing it? I
is
don't think it
Renekton
really
upside down
tells
in the
you.
end? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Unless they do. Oh, imagine if like a champion comes out and they do like they have like a move that flips all the champions, and they do like really janky, kind of slow backflips. Which would be the most awkward champion that would do a slow backflip? Is it just Cho'Gath when he's got max stacks?
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to think who would be more awkward.
Like, who just can't go upside down? Aurelion Sol?
Aurelion Sol looks like he's like a cat. Like he always flips over to be like right side up.
Always kind of flips.
Sonar
and Seraphine would be awkward just because they're like riding things. Corki would just do a barrel roll, and that's all he wants to do anyway.
I'm wondering, like, can't really imagine Yorick upside down.
Gragas?
Gragas, yeah, would be pretty weird.
No, I don't.
Ooh, Ramos would get stuck with his like spikes in the ground. That would be pretty terrible.
Oh, that's true. Hard to flip a Rammus. He's also a turtle. It'd be really sad if he was flipped.
Yeah,
as well.
Ramos
I don't
is
even
probably
want
the
to think
answer,
about that.
actually.
Yeah. Gen.G
All right.
gonna fight for this for some reason. Not entirely sure about that. The casting's on the flank. Can he find his way in? There's a Dominus. They know that he's gonna go. Glacial Prison does connect. They're layering the CC quite nicely. But guys, they don't have any damage. Still, they're going to throw through the curtain call, and Carpe is going to hit the majority of those buttons. Guon wants to get over the wall, but he's not going to be able to. And Gen.G, actually, they managed to do it. I thought when all of their buttons were being pressed and not a whole lot was happening that it was going to be bad, but they split up the fight right.
They split it up, and Guon didn't have flash and couldn't get out of the pit, and he held the control of the Herald. He really wanted to get it, but they don't actually even secure it with the smite. So not only do they lose the fight, but they don't get the Herald. This is a really great ult actually coming through into the front line here. Loki is kind of pushed back, and then look at how this is split up by the Jhin ultimate. The rest of HLE kind of retreating here as Guon is left out alone. Gets caught here. Doesn't have anyone he could safeguard to. The ward he dropped is in the pit. So big win here. That was kind of... I will say, I think the execution was clean. I still don't think it was the right choice to go in. But, you know, if we want to be results-based, which we rarely do, but in this case we will, it worked out for Gen.G.
And also, maybe it's not results-based. It's not talking about what the right play is, but it's about what you expect your opponent to do. And this is Challenger. And so understanding that they'll probably mess up the communication as to whether to turn or whether to stay on the Herald, that might be a good reason to just go in, even if it's like mega telegraphed and Hanwha can go for the turn if they want to.
It felt like a solo queue fight where you're like, oh man, we're down 0-5, but we can still win this, and no one's communication is good enough to like make a subtle macro play, so let's just fight for this. You know, it did feel that way, because we could have otherwise seen a big push bottom for plates or something like that for Carfe. His Jhin feels kind of bad, but just using the Jhin ult there with Winner having a really nice Sejuani setup works out.
It was really good. Also, I feel like Curtain Call gets a lot of value at that moment as well, as Guon is looking for Quid. He's going to find Winner, though. It's not exactly the optimal target here for the Lee Sin. See whether Hanwha can get back on the horse, because honestly, the gold has gone back to like, what, 700?
Yeah,
between them? There's nothing.
Yeah, it went down to like half or a third, really, of what it was before, so that's a big swing back. And in the earlier parts of the game, yeah, you get a big lead on one champion. The lane can be basically unplayable. But team fights, you know, you spread the gold across all 3 lanes. Feels great for your game state, but in a team fight like that, it's still losable at this point before Mythics are up.
Yeah. Kind of like where Gen.G's going here. They kept their mental together after every disaster that could have ever happened in every lane, all over the map, and then it was fine. So really nicely done.
Speaking of mythics, Cassante does have his.
Oh, God. All right. Well, that's a big glove, big cold glove for the Renekton to deal with. Thankfully, I feel like casting's still kind of okay because he's Renekton, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, I will be Croc. It will be K.
Yeah, he will be able to put some threat on Alvarez.
Okay.
Almost cool, almost cool.
Yep, nice Arctic Assault, though, is going to mean that they're not going to be able to get out of that. And Guon, yeah, he's just going to Monker as he gets out. Understandable.
Yeah,
Looks
that's
like
still
this
going to be
Cloud
Drake.
Will be harmless, yeah.
Let's see what soul we get. Because if it is Mountain, it feels amazing for HLE, and it is. It's good for both teams, obviously, but feels really good when you consider that they have the 2 Drakes stacked already, and Cassante is already so tanky. Brewster thought maybe he was going to try to make a play there with his flash, but he doesn't go for it.
Not this time. He will let the crocodile live. As there's the flick, as we discussed before.
Yeah.
I do want to say that I did read chat after we were talking about Rammus and how like flipping a Rammus would be bad. I think that was a bit silly because he actually just like his entire kit is him flipping all the time.
Yeah, but if his spikes get stuck, can he like roll? Can he Q?
But you know how his dance is just him on his back spinning on his spikes?
Oh yeah, I'm not that familiar with his dance. I guess I should. I guess I should have thought about that. That's true.
Yeah. That was a bit of a sad one. I saw that written in chat. I'm like, oh, I'm so silly. So Rammus, he's on the okay to flip.
Yeah.
Okay to flip scale. I still think that Seraphine would be awkward because her little like hoverboard doesn't make any sense if she's upside down.
Well, we're talking about flipping, and we have a lot of flipping objectives in Challengers, Barons, Elders, Dragons even sometimes.
Oh,
but,
flipping Baron.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, what if Baron was actually flipped? Like, what we would kind of know what the bottom looks like.
Does Baron have legs? Is Baron like Doug Trio?
Could be. Could also be... Guwan's making me nervous, but he's not going to commit. Doesn't have his flash.
Yeah.
Could also be like the dragons in the Zelda game, the Breath of the Wild dragons, where they have like pretty small legs, you know?
Oh, yeah. Or in like Wind Waker, where it's like the dragon with its head out the top of the volcano, and then it's like bodies dangling underneath.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Like when Baron spawns, you can kind of see what it looks like. It doesn't look like it has legs, but I haven't looked closely enough to know for sure.
Yeah. And Summoner's Rift is kind of like hovering above the world, right? And so if Baron was actually like this huge thing and like we can only see like his neck and like heads and stuff like that poking out and actually is massive underneath, it would be kind of like that because there'd be like this huge purple thing dangling underneath Summoner's Rift.
I think Summoner's Rift is pretty like thick because obviously Baron he spends the first 20 minutes of the game buying groceries, and then he's like, okay, I just got home, and he like slithers in, and the groceries got to go somewhere. He's got his refrigerator down there. That's where his living room is and stuff. He's just like, this is like his upper balcony, you know, where he has a cup of coffee. Oh
yeah, he slithers in.
He slithers in. But like, you can't really see if he has legs or not.
That's ruined my immersion completely. I was immersed in my theory of chunky Baron. Yeah, so yeah, and that is also older lore, and Summoner's Rift is now on a mountain, right? It's on a mountain. Pretty sure. Something like
All right, let's Renekton.
Yeah, we're going to go for the same fight once again as casting. Goes down to 50%, but otherwise they're okay. Shirley's going to sprint back, but now the fight is on. Guon stays alive for so long, though. And Lothbrew is going to go down. The health bars are so low as Quid gets in there. Perfect execution. Is it exactly that? He's got a double kill so far, and casting is going to be able to pick up the Cassante in the back line. Hanwha falling apart, flashing away. And the power of the Quid carry is in, Wolf.
It's there. 3,000 damage nearly in that last fight. And HLE going to have to back away from the Second Herald. Now, Second Herald not that great in terms of what its power is going to be on this map, and not a whole lot of turrets damage or anything like that. So this is a win where the fight itself is stronger than the objective, where you win this and you get a bunch of money to your Akali. But this comp does work, right? Like, you have an insane frontline for the Jhin, and if casting tanks all this damage up, you have a lot of backline damage and follow-up engage, because you have a Sejuani, you have a Rakan, and then Quid is just kind of waiting for his opportunity here. Whereas as soon as the winner engage comes through there with Lospa, the fight is essentially won in this moment. And then the follow-up is just so insane. Quid's like, all right, here's my chance. Here's my opportunity. Then they just die so quickly.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I really loved Quid's timing here as well, because he makes sure that he engages after the Lee Sin has pressed all of his buttons. You know,
exactly.
he allows Lospa to get in there and then picks exactly the right moment. Oh man, Quid. I've seen him do some pretty boneheaded things here in Challenger, but this was not one of them.
Yeah, no, it was clean. And the setup that was, you know, launched there by casting and winner was really nice. And then once he can get into his shroud and engage, he's going to go for it. Now, HLE, I think, even down on gold here, still in a pretty fantastic spot in this game, especially with the 2 Drakes they have stacked and the prio they have mid right now. Let's see what this Herald can get done. Going to try to push mid to get a better setup of prio.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel better and better. I mean, this composition doesn't have like a traditional AD carry that does like lots of DPS, but this is like the Gale Force version of the gen, so he will have a lot of damage as the game goes on, I guess. As Bear comes down, I mean, Lospa's just dead. Not a whole lot you can do there. Carpe is going to be wiped out here by Loki, potentially, but Loki does back away. They deny the Rift Herald. And now, without the Rakan, I don't think Gen.G can actually fight for this. Watch them fight for this, though.
Yeah, they probably will. They have Casting's ult, but he doesn't have Flash. Quid will just instantly be stunned if he decides to go in onto Duro. Duro's got the stun prepped. He's just like, whoever goes in is getting stunned, and we're just going to focus. They're trying to set this up with Casting on the flank to bait out the stun so that Quid can go in, but really good zoning here from Loki as well. This is a crazy contest here from Gen.G. With the ult coming out, maybe they could pull it off.
Yeah, Loki going to be fighting here towards the bottom side. They get the Shroud out from Quid as the Dragon is going to start getting angry at Gen.G. Has actually done a fair bit of damage so far this fight. So far, for me, the Dragon is the MVP of the battle. Charging up the piercing arrow. They're not going to be able to get it. And now Hanwha need to do their very best to try and get out of here. Quid gets himself all the way over the wall with the help of Rooster, and they just destroy Guon. Hanwha Life have just fallen apart at the seams. Yeah. It's like they got out of the way all of their good plays. They're like, 3 good plays in a row? We don't need any more of those. And they put them back in the cupboard. We don't need those anymore. And from there, Gen.G have just picked up all those pieces.
I mean, arguably, the only wins for HLE in this game have just been capitalizing on mistakes of Gen.G in the early game. But when it's mattered most on objectives, they have fallen flat every time. And the zoning there was actually so well played because you've got a Jhin ultimate that you can follow up on, but they're pushing both the Hanwha Life esports squad away while also trying to trap them using that Renekton ult. This is just clean play. Look, Casting on one side, Quid on the other, and you've got your AD carry in the back here. Carfe is able to just completely push them away, and then the smite here super early because they know that if they wait even 1 second longer, they are going to get collapsed on because guess who's back? It's the Rakan. You killed him before the fight, but the fight goes so long and you're so indecisive that he ends up being full health and back there for the ult.
Yeah, and Guon like used his kick on Lospa to try and deny the re-engage, but Lospa's a Rakan with Battle Dance and all sorts of things.
Yeah, it was pretty bizarre. And I think this comp gets easier to play for HLE once Silas finishes his Rod of Ages, but you know, he got ahead, bought it early, but it still takes time to finish, so it's not quite ready yet. He isn't going to get that extra level or those additional stats. He's gotten some of them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not Lethality Varus, so there's not a lot of poke in this comp. And yeah.
That might explain why they're losing. I don't like on-hit Varus.
I don't like on-hit Varus very much, but I especially don't really like it in this composition where there are so many threats where you need to basically be auto-attacking consistently against the Sejuani, Akali, Renekton, and the Rakan.
I like the idea of trying to poke them out when they have to, like, they're not going to really be able to stop you from doing that.
Yeah, you can beat them at their own game, but now with the Lethality Varus, like, you're always going to lose the poke war here, and with 3 different threats that can move in. That's why they lost control of that Drake in the first place, right?
Yeah.
This game is still winnable for HLE, but last time we kind of did the check, I was like, okay, HLE's still in a fine spot. They had prio, but now I'm like, oh, okay, this is definitely Gen.G's game to lose. I don't see HLE coming back here without some really clean team fighting, which we have not seen.
Oh! Whoa! He caught it on the way through. That was so sick.
That was actually insane.
Yeah. Lost are actually just like diving. He's like, I can catch this. It's like in cricket, man. Like you do like, baseball. You do the big jump to catch the ball. It's precisely what Lost did.
Yeah, you catch that in the NFL, man. You're going all the way to the end zone.
100%. I thought perhaps Guwon was going to go to the end zone, but not this time. This game, it may also get there as Rooster doesn't find the Q. Casting does the continue walking in the same direction tactic. I like it. It's my personal favorite for avoiding things.
You know, we had some of the most one-sided, crazily draft diff games of LCK in the last week. It is wild to cast challengers after that where I'm like, okay, anyone could win. Like, who knows? Because we had so many games that were foregone conclusions in LCK this last week.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, wait, like, it's anyone's game. Like, it's going to be about who plays it out better from here.
Yeah, maybe it's just like comeback mechanics have been introduced. 13.4 has saved League of Legends as we know it.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. 100%. Hanwha Life Esports, they put in all of these good moves, but Gen.G, with the power of friendship and being able to convince their opponents to flub back-to-back teamfights around Heralds, that's how you do it. And we've had that many times, but often teams are just in better positions in order to make the plays after all that money came in from their initial start.
What I want to see from HLE, if we have the same type of fight here as Winner is very aggressive, got to be careful, is just whoever is flanking, you know, whether it's a Renekton, whether it's Quid, just flash stun him with the Annie and kill that flanker. Just stop that instantly, make it a 5v4 like this.
Or just kill this guy, yeah. I think killing Kafe is a good idea.
If anyone's, like, this comp can blow somebody up so quick it has a lot of CC. If anyone's too close to you or if anyone's trying to get cute, just kill them. Now they're going to get Baron, and because Drake hasn't spawned, it's not spawning for 20, there's no objective trade available here. This is really bad for Gen.G.
This is why you pick on-hit Varus, because the Baron damage is a little bit better.
There you go.
I love it. There we go. That's all right. We're going to flash Timbers. That's the way to start the fight, guys. There we go. Hanwha figured it out, and immediately all the engage options are going to be taken down. Now Loki is just being frustrating while the rest of the team deals with the Baron. The cleanest team fighting that we've seen from Hanwha so far today. Took a little while, but we got there in the end. Now Guwon chasing them down. Piercing Arrow actually doing a fair bit of work there onto the Crocodile, and there goes Quid. Sorry, buddy. It was heroic, but not enough in the end. Loki just grabbing that bull by the horns, and by bull, I mean Crocodile. And by horns, I mean snout.
This was finally a decisive fight for HLE. They get that initial pick, and then they do, as I say, flash Tibbers, engage on a turn, being decisive. Now they're going to have Soul Point and a Baron buff to push through some of these turrets, get some deep map vision. And now, once again, HLE back in control.
Like I said, it's over, you know. Hanwha won this game at like 2 minutes in, Wolf, as we know, as we knew.
This is just really aggressively bad positioning, like greedy positioning, and it's bad, but it was like, let's say greedy, because he's standing up there trying to push that wave back before it gets to the turret. And then the engage comes through the stolen Rakan ultimate as well here on Loki, where he could try to chase them down. And then they actually stay here, hoping that they can, I don't know what they're hoping they're going to do, to be honest. I'm trying to caster, like, explain them, like, yeah, like, these guys are elite players, and they are, but this was not the right choice, and there's not much I can do to save it for them.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I guess you can understand the thinking, which is, we want to be there to contest so that it can be a 50-50 Baron instead of a just throw Baron. But, you can't just mill about with 3 melee champions and hope that something good's going to happen.
And you can't, they don't have the damage to try to trade for the Drake either. Like, they couldn't have just been like, all right, fine, you guys got that, we'll go Drake. They wouldn't have been able to do it in time. It would have been in a terrible spot as Quid.
All right, he's going to get kicked a little. Backflips. Hanwha going to be able to grab themselves this outer turret. Top side of the map, casting. That's what I'm doing. That's what his name is. It's confusing.
Yeah, it's not a great name for us, is it?
No. I mean, there have been worse names, Wolf. There have like, you talked to Crisp in the LCK, or in the LPL. He had to change his for a certain reason.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite, like, bad name was always Expression.
Oh, yeah. I used to call him Expression all the time. And then I was like, wait, he's been Expression this whole time, and I didn't know?
And then there's always the ADD ad debate.
Ed? Ad?
Yes.
ADD?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Because the Korean broadcast called him Ed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because the reason why is because his name is Ad, right? Like addition, and then in Korean we would call that Ed. So like that's why. But like the English broadcaster called him ADD, and then there was some debate as to whether that should be changed. We've had a few names we've changed over the years, like Umti used to be called Umti.
Yeah.
And we were like, wait, his last name's let's not do that. He's Umti.
Yep. There's a reason for all of these things. And then you have the Artosis approach that you can also do, where it's like, you can tell me what your name is, I don't care, I will say it the way I want to say it.
Zealots.
Yep.
I was watching Artosis' stream before I came to work today, so
oh, really?
I'm in the vibe.
Nice, nice. I saw the fact that Tasteless was streaming.
I watched both of them. I watched a little bit of Artosis, I watched a little bit of Tasteless. You know, if I have like an hour to kill, I will just watch StarCraft. And they're doing it every day when I'm awake, so it's perfect.
I used to watch the GSL, like, as far as like leagues that I would watch outside of the LCK, I think I've watched the GSL more than anything else. That was since HOTS stopped, because otherwise it was HOTS when you and G-Clef used to be casting it.
GSL's great.
Guan's going to go on a bit of a journey here as he tags Losper. Delivers a Crocodile, he's going to explode, and we'll see whose quickness is going to be better. Quid comes in a little bit late as Quid's also doing a heck of a lot of work. See how this one's going to go, though, because the Varus already taken down, but still, the Death Ball of Hanwha are still alive. Loki is so dangerous, and the health bars of Gen.G are getting low. Carpe's going to be able to cleanse this one. Tries to get out, and they do manage to destroy the Lee Sin, so Gen.G hold ground.
Holding on here. No objective up to take here during these death timers, so some gold being picked up, but it's not going to be a big turnaround here for Gen.G. Will help them get a little bit more control over their vision around their jungle. And I started to think about it, but like, who are we voting here if HLE win? Like, it's kind of a tough call. I'm kind of feeling like if we're KDA voting, like if we're KDA voting, it's Loki for sure, and he did make some decisive calls, but I'm kind of like, is it an Annie vote situation? Like, he helped bring this game back, like Duro did. Because this is not a fight that makes you feel like an HLE voter, but the start despite was really good, and then they overstay here. And Carfe has had a really good game despite everything.
The amount of baiting that Losper has been doing is absolutely absurd. Hanwha just want to kill Rakan more than any other champion on the Rift. It's nuts. If he's there, they are going for it. All right, Rooster, can you find it? There's a stolen Glacial Prison. Might get Loki.
Another
the
bait.
POG is okay. Does manage to ult his way out. Does Rooster as the chains will connect, casting in a bit of trouble. There's the flash Tibbers, though, as Duro gives them another issue to deal with. Quid's going to come on over. Does manage to destroy the Lee Sin, but he'll be taken down because of it. And now the Silas is running amok. Once again, Losper, he will be targeted, unable to bait anymore as it's a double kill here for Loki. And this time, the Varus is still alive. So I have a feeling that Hanwha Life are going to be able to grab themselves a Drake and possibly win the game.
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of pushing me over the edge for a Loki vote. That's 6,000 damage, 6,500 in that fight. The engage was great. Yeah, well, thanks for answering our question, Loki. We had a little hypothetical moment where we were like, He was like, well, let me show you who you should vote for.
Well, we know that we're not voting for Guan. That's what we do know.
Yeah.
And so when you're not voting for Guan, especially after the last couple of weeks here for Hanwha Life, it is hard to know.
It is hard to know. As, once again, a little bit of a bait here. Seems like, right? Rooster gets caught here after trying to collapse onto the Rakan. And then the longer fight here, Lure is untouched. Like, look at where this Varus is for all of this fight. He's doing a decent amount of damage while Loki's up in the thick of things.
Yeah. He's just having a great time with all of these ultimates as well that he picks up. Like, all of them, like, help him be in melee range all the time forever. Like, quickness into Dominus is so cool.
He has a death cap now.
Oh.
So this Baron is going to disappear.
Yeah.
He has more damage done than the Varus, which is, again, I think a vote against, on hit Varus. Lethality is my vote.
So there are a couple of schools of thought here, though, right? Because if you think about Lethality Varus, definitely does more damage. How much of that damage is inconsequential, though?
Yeah, impact
is
like
the question.
You know what stat I really wish we had in League? Is
team fight damage done?
Damage done that leads to eliminations. Like if it doesn't actually get a kill in a fight, it doesn't actually show.
Poking out a champion does make them easier to kill, and so therefore that damage should be relevant.
Yeah, sometimes it is, but like I would love to have it, and you can contextualize it every time. But that's a stat I really wish we had. It's just like damage that leads to elims.
Yeah. I'd like to figure out a way to do that.
Yeah,
it
it's
sounds
tricky.
like a lot of manpower to try and figure it out. As Loki is going to collect himself the quickness here as the kickback on to Winner, but they're not able to burst the Baron quite in time. It's a bit dicey, but Winner gets in there and they're not going to be able to secure the Baron. And now Gen.G are just melting. But guys, Mountain Salt is just revolting. Look at this cute little Jin trying to do a damage.
Carfe's play, again, despite this loss, has been insane. I think
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he messed up a little bit in the early game, but all of these team fights have been clean. His ults have been amazing. His Gale Force usage has been great. He's been catching people. He's
And
playing
yet that
aggressively.
one time in mid lane meant that this loss is probably on him as well.
I know, that's the saddest thing, is like him getting picked there is what turns this game around, but the duality of Carfe is, I'm going to go ahead and put my mid vote in right now.
Yeah, can you just do mid ×2?
Yeah, I will. I got you.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, that's it's a pretty comfortable Hummer Life Esports win that we told you about this, right? Like we knew that was going to happen from the very beginning of the game when they won every lane. Pretty much the snowball is just snowball meta is too much, guys. Like this game, it was like Gen.G never had a chance.
Pay no attention to that dip in the gold graph in the mid game. It's pay no attention, pay you no mind.
No, that's it's inconsequential gold. We were talking about this, about the damage graph. I want to have one for the gold graph. Actually, like the Gen.G lead, inconsequential.
They were just
no
when Gen.G had a lead, it was just HLE teasing them a little bit, giving them a feeling like they could win.
I still don't like Jin very much, Wolf.
I'm coming around on Jin actually a little bit, to be honest. I mean, I liked Jin with Maokai, but like that's almost always permabanned. So, you know, you're like, does it really matter? And then now that Maokai's nerfed, probably matters less. But we've seen some of these team fights with a really aggressive frontline melee jungler who's tanky, melee top laner who's tanky, and then Jin has a little bit more agency, work out decently well. I'm not still sold on Jin, but I think he's okay. Without Maokai. With Maokai, I think he's really good, but without
And that
Maokai.
first Herald fight, he did do a lot of damage. So Curtain Call early in the game, kind of good. 10 or 10, it's not live. This was actually recorded in 2028, I believe. And we're bringing it to you now. This is the future.
Yeah.
Also now commentated by AI, and that is it. It's the only thing we actually have. Humans don't even exist in 2028. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's
only
going to
like
be
a
hard.
few years from now.
It's going to be hard for these people to understand how it all happens, but we can't spoil it because that might change the
We don't want to be
future.
downers, you know? And also, yeah, we don't want to time paradoxes and
I
stuff like
wouldn't
that.
want humanity to avoid that and survive.
Yeah, ha ha ha. Oh yeah, because we're AI.
We're
yeah,
AI.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't exist if humanity lives, as Loki will get it,
Yeah.
unsurprisingly.
This is his first POG too. I was like, I haven't seen this POG screen before, and there's a reason for that. 10-0-7 on the Silas. The guy did extraordinarily well. Got a good start with the help of Guon, but Guon did kind of run it in like the majority of the fights, and it was this guy that was able to really get the ship back afloat.
Yeah, he certainly did, and he team fought really well into all of the melee engage. Got his death cap early, sealed the deal on this game. I think that we might have a 2-0 still, but that mid-game did give me pause, did make me wonder if maybe Gen.G could bring it to a 3-gamer.
I personally really like Pause though, because Tibbers has Pause, and I like Tibbers. Do you have a Tibbers toy at home?
No, all I have is a Baron statue and a Blitzcrank statue. Like, I don't know if I call it a statue. It's like not a figure either. It's just a really high quality Blitzcrank thing. That's pretty big. It's not a statue, but it's like, it's not a plushie. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it to work one day.
Nice. I've got an Elder Dragon and I've got a Tibbers. So we're covering
You and I both make Exodia.
the large animal bases. It's perfect. We're going to go to a short break, guys. When we get back, game number 2. See you there. Welcome back, everyone, to LCK Challenger Spring 2023. I'm Atlas. This is Wolf next to me, and we're here with you. And we're also going to commentate a video game. It's the second one that we've had today. Games will be played between Gen.G and Humble Life Esports. Champions will be slain. That is a thing that we know.
They will be selected.
They will also be selected.
And they will be banned as well.
Indeed. There will be 5 of them banned on either side.
Well, probably.
That is true.
Probably.
It is possible that 5 champions will be banned on either side for both of these teams, and then 5 of them will be picked, guaranteed.
Interestingly, I can't think of any dropped bans in challengers that we've cast. I don't think it's happened, unless I missed a game, which I have sometimes missed a draft because I'm like driving and running errands or whatever, and then I come home and watch, but we've had a lot of dropped bans in LCK this season so far, but in challengers, at least from the ones that have been broadcast in English, like I can't think of any. Maybe chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but
it's happened twice in the LCK though.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means, but one thing I do know is that a coconut is indeed a nut.
Really?
Yeah, it can technically be classified as a nut
Interesting.
or a fruit or something else. Not entirely sure.
Is there any nut that we consider a nut that's not actually a nut? Like, I don't know.
A donut.
I can't think of any example. Oh, but I don't know if we really consider that a nut.
But it's a donut. How can it not be a nut? Wait, is a cashew not a nut?
The chat doesn't like this discussion.
Which chat?
I was wondering if cashew, because like cashew is the first one that came to my mind. I was like, is it a nut? It is put in the mixed nuts, bag. And you'll have it, with a drink, and you're like, I'm eating cashews because that's what people do, but nobody really likes cashews. Nobody really likes cashews.
Is a peanut not a nut? Because that kind of blows my mind. What is even a nut? Whoa.
Is a nut a
Mic on
seed?
head, please. Okay. I'm a mic stand.
I can't do it. I don't have the luxurious hair that Atlas has.
Yeah, my hair actually works. I was just thinking, like, I'm actually now a mic stand. Maybe if I like hung it somehow over my head, I would actually not even need like to hold it anymore. That's actually crazy.
Zest is subbed in, as we were alluding to before we began today. That they like to swap them back and forth. So
we're not going to be casting anymore.
No.
What are we doing?
No. We're telling the stories of challenges.
We're taking you on a journey. Maybe we should just maybe our commentary should be purely in past tense for this one. Like no one's going to do anything. We need to talk about where they've been only. There's no predicting.
Well, if you think about it, besides analysis where you expect things to happen in team fights, like casting is always really in the past tense. Like we cast in present tense when team fights are happening, but you've seen something happen. And if you say like, I don't know, Lee Sin goes for the kick, like he's already, kicked, right? Like at that moment.
Then yeah, play-by-play is actually in the past tense kind of as well. It's just not very, very past. We do talk about what might happen in the future, but it's not talking about the future necessarily. Yeah. It's more about options.
It's about branching paths, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, Gen.G going to ban a couple of things. This is the same ones that they did the last time around. As we do have Gen.G with side selection, it means that they will head back to the blue side once again.
And these bans looking familiar. This time Annie will be banned away from HLE because it's one of the strongest flex picks on red side. It did really hurt Gen.G in that last game.
Yeah, I like
taking it away. Let's see if they are going to first pick the Sejuani again with the Maokai nerfs. Okay. Yeah.
Don't go Jason Waterfalls.
No.
You can't do that anymore.
Don't put that in your eye, Rooster.
You need to heat up his eye, man. It needs a hot eye.
I just always worry about what's in those hot packs and people putting them near their eyes and their mouths. I personally don't recommend it.
No, I wouldn't do it. I think Master Yi is definitely the choice here.
Please play it. That would be fun.
I'm not sure about the Lee Sin situation.
It didn't go very well for them in the mid game last game, but the early game was great.
Yeah. But what happens if Hanwha don't get 5 kills in the first 4 minutes?
That is a good question. We might just be fully running this back. Minus the Annie,
I like
obviously.
the Rakan priority pick because honestly, like, Hanwha looked really confused about how to deal with it. Kind of saved him.
Shout outs to Corn Salad, you mid-master years.
Hell yeah.
The old days before they changed Master Yi.
I think Faker is still 100% win rate on Master Yi.
I think so.
Because of the fact that mid Master Yi was so broken.
He's probably got like at least 5 games on it too. Did not have Renata Glask on my bingo card today.
That was not on my bingo card either.
Huh.
But it was a classic into Rakan back in the day.
Very strong.
Also,
Lethality
like,
Varus, also really strong with this lane if you just push really hard.
would you say that Renata Glask is the most polite champion? Because she shakes everyone's hand. Nobody else does that.
Yeah, nobody else
bails people out.
Yeah.
If they go to jail.
True.
Like someone goes to glacial prison, she bails them straight out of there.
Lux seems pretty polite, just in general. And she's always talking about smiling, trying to show everyone's light side and stuff like that.
But then she evaporates them with a giant laser.
Well, only
That's
the
not
only the
very
ones who are
polite.
rude. Only the ones who are rude.
I mean, Renata just like kind of spreads rumors.
She makes people angry
A
at each
wave
other.
of rumors.
Yeah.
And then they get angry at each other. But that's not her. She's still pretty polite about it, I think.
Yeah, LeBlanc ban, by the way, kind of interesting here against Loki. LeBlanc could be very strong into Rakan because it's hard for him to ward, but I would not expect to see that ban.
Jack's taken away.
Yeah, HLE are just banning like all the good stuff, like no Jace, no Safe Gnar, no Blind Jacks, none of that.
Is it just the Renekton angle? They're just gunning for it.
I think so.
I imagine that the Renekton will be banned.
That seems like a good idea.
And
Especially because the comp of Gen.G is kind of reliant on that type of hard engaged top lane champion.
And sort of the mid-game power that it provided as well. It was really important for Gen.G to be able to get back in. I think with a scaling type top lane, could be really dangerous.
When I don't like as much, I would rather them just take the Renekton away, honestly, because I think everything they've shown right now, Zest will play Renekton into. He's like, yep, I'll play Renekton to that. Yep, that one's cool too.
Yeah. I mean, it was going to be. We're just cycling through a bunch of options first.
Oh, they were going to try to pull a T1 and play the Yasuo top with Gragas mid.
Oh, yeah. No, you just wait. It's going to be Renekton mid, Lee Sin top, and Loki and what is it? Guwan's going to counterpick jungle.
I think that Gen.G could play Ornn here. They don't have to do this. You don't have to make this choice, Gen.G. Could power up whatever mid laner you want with the Ornn. You have good mid-game power on those early objectives. But no, just going to look for Cassante, who will have problems with his range in this composition. But if he does get in there, I mean, it works the same way as the Renekton for the Jhin and the Rakan.
And also, like, it works similarly the other way around, right? We saw Rooster do this into casting in our first game. And Cassante, very difficult to dive, so it does kind of save you there.
I really like the Sylas pick here because it works extremely well with what their comp is trying to do. All right, if we're locking in Kassadin here, I'm like, what are we doing, HLE? Like, what is this draft's concept?
Well, I think they need magic damagingness. And Akali is going to do magic damages, which is cool.
I like the Akali because it's pretty good into Sylas. Obviously, Sylas is happy to steal the ultimate away, and there's a lot of power with what Gen.G tried to do last game in this very comp. It's a little bit different. It's Cassante instead of the Renekton, and you have a Sylas to further that frontline engage. But the back line is very squishy and exposed. Like, the Jhin and the Rakan is super dangerous to play into the Akali. We'll see if it's lethality Varus, because if it is, it's going to have a lot of frontline to get through, but if it's not, I don't know if you ever really do that much damage in this composition as HLE. We'll see. I think both are viable. I'd rather see lethality myself, especially because you have the Renata lane to try to push really hard and get that bottom prio.
Yeah, I really like the lethality angle as well, but Lua does just like going for the on-hit variant. You do Baron faster, which is kind of cool.
Which was relevant in the last game.
Kind of was. Crit Varus. Great Jeeling. I don't know about that. I know it's there. I know it exists. Kraken Slayer Varus, just kind of, I like it.
Kraken Slayer Varus is just really weird.
It's fun. I like the idea.
I don't think his kit is good for it, though, because you don't have any sort of escape yet. You have the ultimate, but you don't have any way to lock people down. So you're kind of just, like, trying to shoot people with a
if your
mediocre range.
If your opponent is a target dummy, though, damn, it's good.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
with you all the way. With you all the way on that one.
Super good. Are you ready to rock out? We nailed the doo-doo-doos last time.
I'm ready.
I reckon we can probably nail it again. And we'll see. We've got a few left. Might only be 3 more.
Could be that kind of night. It's up to you, HLE.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get under the rift. Wait,
oh, wait, we got it!
We got the
song was there! The song, it was there! We didn't even have to do it. You and I both also...
Yeah.
We wisely stopped. We were like, no, this is not our time.
Give it a chance.
Oh my god.
You guys actually got to hear it.
You were here.
Did you actually hear it? Did you hear the start of the doot?
Now, to be fair, it was only one doot that actually went through, but now you guys got to hear like the beginnings of what this is all based around, the tradition that's been in Challengers English broadcasting for a month and a half.
Yeah, from now on, maybe we should just do one do. Okay, no, for the next one, we're just doing one to honor the fact that we actually managed to get a do.
Now, that is, of course, assuming that we don't get one again.
Yeah,
because if it's one or two,
imagine if we got 3.
Yeah.
Or the entire.
Or the full 4.
Oh, I don't want to. You know, careful what you wish for. You know, if I get that kind of reward today, then it could go straight to my head.
It's surprising to me that Rooster has not played any Renekton this season.
Yeah.
Seems like a champion that he'd be really good at.
And we've actually just got the mid lane and top lane just entirely switched as far as matchup is concerned. And we've added Renata for some reason. But it's kind of the same champions entirely, except Renata and Annie have been swapped.
I think without the Annie, there are some problems for HLE's comp, but the Renata solves a lot of them with her ultimate.
Yeah, she does sort of similar things to support Annie, kind of. Yeah. Similar vibe.
So she's a lot stronger in lane, too, at getting the cryo.
And it is, once again, going to be the on-hit Varus.
Yeah, I was about to say, not my favorite, but...
I think it's Lua's favorite. I think he just really likes it.
Lure and Bull are like our resident lethality Varus players and challengers. They don't play, or sorry, on hit. They do not play lethality. I wish they were resident lethality Varusers, but they are about that lethal tempo life.
Mm-hmm. And look, if you get a kill in a team fight, the Varus passive with the extra attack speed, pretty crazy with the on-hit Varus. Kind of like, I dig that. But it also works with lethality quite well.
Yeah.
Just because then your autos actually do something.
Yeah, and you can actually, do things in the lane and get a power spike early. And I think that the reason why we see less lethality Varus in LCK... Well, hold on. I don't want to get deep on this. As Winner is hoping to be a winner with this gank.
He won't be a winner yet. Oh, does manage to get the cannon. And, yeah, not going to be able to find that one. And
that was an interesting prediction there. Like,
I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too because it's really common to go down there because it seems like you wouldn't because it's further away from your turret.
Yep. Ooh, backflip. No. Oh, we're really going for this. Winner wants Loki dead.
Is that Malron? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
He's just gonna stay here forever. He's lost so much time.
Well, there is another Shroud now on cooldown, but with the Rift Scuttler spawning, means that it's time for Quid to go home. So
this lane going so well for the Akali so early is actually not a great sign, as Guon is going to get this bottom scuttle. He's just in gank mode.
Yeah, and Rooster is going to need another Q to try and keep himself alive. Does flash. Doesn't want to get permafrosted, but he will. And there it is. Does manage to get a stun out. Slice, dice. No flash, but he sights. Oh, no, he doesn't. Q's pretty large, and that means that Kasante is going to get another first blood, this time for Gen.G.
Yeah, well played. Guon trying to take some of the jungle away here of Winner because he's been camping so hard. We'll only get a small amount of it, though, with these Raptors.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about lethality Varus one more time, but, like,
he's
think
not
it's
even
just
here.
not. Yeah, it's just not worth anymore. We'll talk about it some other time. Let it go.
I like him too. I agree. But Hanwha, I think they don't play around, like, because we like it so much because with coordinated play...
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. It works well. But if you've got, like, a whole...
Oh, so
right,
clean!
The double dive!
That was so sick.
That
They're both like, all right,
really
well,
cool.
if you hit and I hit, we go. They like high five and dash in together. They're like holding hands mid dash.
They actually did like one of those anime things where like the different color comes behind them and they're like, let's do this. And they both dive in together.
The rainbows. Man. I could see the rainbow trail behind them.
Definitely. Really cool. Let's have a look at it one more time.
You jump, I jump.
Yeah. Maybe we could have the Sailor Moon theme come up as well or something like that.
1, 2, together.
Let's go.
Oh, this is definitely going to be in the Mad movie next week.
Oh,
100%.
Definitely. We're going straight to Challenger for the Mad movie. In the LCK. We're just going to have this moment.
But yeah, the coordination, all I have to do is talk about lethality Varus and the fight starts every time, dude.
I know, it's beautiful. Guwon's going to come up towards this top side as Rooster, he's Alcove Cannon. But he's also permafrosted, which is subpar. Wants to get some cooldowns back. That slice, I don't think it hit, but he is going to be able to at least get out of here with his life. Loki, let's see what you can do about this one. Lands the backflip, jumps onto Quid here. Grand Entrance is going to come through, and Quid, that handshake was actually beautiful from Duro. They are going to be able to make it out, though.
So close. Just one more auto would have done it.
A bowl of soup really loves League of Legends. Did you know that?
You mean X, a bowl of soup X? Because that's how you stylize.
Oh, sorry.
If we're going back to 2002, maybe add some
you need more
360s.
X's. You need more X's, I think. If it's just an X beforehand, I think it's just used to make it look interesting.
Yeah, sometimes you go lowercase x, uppercase x.
Do you remember when it was cool to spell cool with a K?
Yeah, and it was about like when I was in like 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't cool anymore after that. Then it was like 2 years later, everyone was like, well, if you spell cool with a K, you are definitely not cool with a C.
it went really not cool with a C to spell it with a K. Blastcone, that's cool with a C. Is Blastcone.
And, you know, a bowl of soup with X's in front and at the end. We, too, love League of Legends here at the LCK Global team.
We do.
We're big fans.
Yeah. Atlas is definitely not rolling on Daya. So, sorry, Lunel. It's not happening.
Nope.
Yeah. And her banner also looks so bad. Sorry about the Genshin talk, Wolf.
It's okay.
Didn't mean to bring it into...
No, it's fine.
It's just, like, ugh. She makes me so sad. I was really excited for her character, but she just seems useless. It's going to be a decent handshake onto Cafe. Does cleanse it immediately. Grand Entrance just to make sure they're not going to be able to get too much follow-up damage. But man, Jin Rakan into this lane is doing so little.
Yeah.
It's
Imagine
very
if
sad.
it was lethality Varus, though, and what he could have done. Unfortunate. He got some lethal tempo value in that trade, though.
Ooh, that's the smallest little kick I've ever seen. And that's a real... dead ball.
I only mentioned it because I wanted more action.
Well, there is more action. And that is going to be Loki. Perfect execution comes down. That's going to help them line up the kills. Bailout, Duro needs to kill someone! It's not going to work because there's no one left to kill. Oh, it's the perfect counter to Renata.
Yeah, if he actually timed it a little bit faster, he probably would have gotten bailed out there. It's hard to say because of the timing of that kill, but Guwon just identifies, okay, we have full control in mid and bottom. I can come over here and take red buff. And he's like, if he's taking red buff, I'll kill him. And they do. And then over here, Chains of Corruption land, and Loki and Guwon are like, let's take that lead all the way to the bottom lane. Man. And yeah, if he ulted him earlier, it wouldn't have triggered, actually, I don't think, the bailout.
And this is before we even have hostile takeover from Duro. I mean, these team fights are going to be very, very difficult for Gen.G. Especially with like the short range and the short range of their engage. Man, hostile takeover value is just massive.
It is going to be huge. It's kind of like
Oblivion
the perfect
I haven't
answer.
because I don't love the Jin pick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's crazy because at the point in the draft where they picked the Renata, we were like, oh, this is not my bingo card. But when you think about what Gen.G did last game and how the draft was basically exactly the same, it makes so much sense that they would play it again.
Yeah. Well, we're going all out. as Rooster is going to flash away, but put in prison immediately. Does have the Dominus. Let's see what he can do here. Oh, it just comes back in order for Willa to kill him. Just too many dashes, too much confusion. And they do manage to take a plate as well for their trouble.
Yeah, well, 2 deaths on the Renekton now. So 2 successful plays top side here. And Rooster also losing his flash. Pretty huge.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this really is going to be what solves the problem that is HLE's bottom side and a Akali that is, I wouldn't say fed, but significantly ahead. As they're going to actually set up a dive here one more time.
Yeah, Winner actually coming down to the danger zone. I call the bottom side of the map the danger zone.
It is the danger zone.
For Gen.G. He's up towards the top side, which is Happy Land. Happy Land of top side of the map. And then danger zone.
Danger zone.
Here on the bottom side. Guon lurking, and there is so much vision available for the red side as well. When it does come through, but he's going to walk over a ward here. Squid gets a bit of a push.
The river the highway to the danger zone?
Oh yeah, it is. I think the mid lane is also part of that highway to the danger zone. That's why everyone wants to be a mid laner. It's a cool role.
Well, this is an aggressive trade that sets up Sejuani. Gank gives him enough time. Then he all-outs him so far away from this turret, and he actually will not be hit. And then the flash was clean, actually, to avoid the Q3. But the hitbox on the Glacial Prison is just a little bit sus. It didn't look like
I mean, it's a Happy Land hitbox.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Like, that's what you get for being in Happy Land. Everything just goes a little bit better, works a little bit cleaner. Happy Land hitboxes, guys. You can't hate it. It's the Happy Land.
Yeah.
Loki is halfway between. See, look, he's in the danger zone now.
Here he comes.
On the highway.
On the highway to the danger zone. We got to get Kenny Loggins in here for this one.
We'll need to
call Tom Cruise.
It's going to be difficult to actually, you know, afford the rights for it, but I think it'll be worth it. Just whenever anyone enters the bottom river, like that has to be the line.
Give me the Shin like Tomcat skin.
Yes.
When he ults, he just flies down.
Yeah, on
like
a fighter jet.
Yeah, fighter jet. and then the rift turns into an aircraft carrier.
Yeah. Oh man, that's beautiful. I'm sure that could be done. We need to talk to the Riot Skins team. Winner is in the brush, still in Happy Land. It is Happy Land for everyone other than Rooster, but he does go gold, and we had some frame drops there for a moment. It looked a little bit worrying, but once again, Happy Land working out for Gen.G. Loki going to come up towards Happy Land. That's not as happy for Hum Alive.
Definitely not feeling very happy. If he actually had a Gore Drinker here, you know, he probably survives these, but it's been so delayed. He's only at 80 CS here. He's 0-3, so...
Yeah, he's handbagging pretty hard.
He is handbagging really hard.
Yeah.
As greeding for a plate. Not gonna get it.
Nope.
Don't greed for plates. Don't
not
do
gonna
that.
get. Not in the danger zone, man.
Not in the danger zone
down there.
Yeah.
Don't get greedy in the danger zone.
Look at all the vision they have there towards the danger zone.
Who's going to connect? There's the safeguard kick flash, and very interesting play from Loki. Perfect execution comes through, but the Q's gonna land. Man, they're just treating Quid like a ragdoll here in mid.
I feel like Guwon and Loki have, you know,
their mind meld has been
great, but like I feel like in the team house, like they hang out only with each other. You know what I mean? Like they don't hang out with the other players as much. They always eat together.
They're the Bash Bros from the Mighty Ducks, dude.
Oh, everything about this is so sad.
Yeah.
And Lure had ult, and he still didn't commit.
You can't. No handshaking in the danger zone, Lord.
No,
that's not how it goes. Dong.
These sounds.
Well, Shirley
what was
teleports.
That?
Okay.
Look at the emo.
Love it.
I'm like, you're supposed to pause when that happens, not do the surprised Yumi emote.
The monkey Yumi, man.
All right. Yeah, these two. Like, this is when Lure is like, hey, Guwon, do you want to get lunch? And he's like, I already ate with Lure. Sorry, Loki, excuse me.
This is straight up Goose and Maverick, man.
Definitely. And Loki doesn't even die in the end. Spoilers.
Oh, and Lure's dabbing in the mid lane because he's moving towards Happy Land. He's like, I came out of the danger zone. Look at me, I'm 1-0-1. He was forged in the danger zone. Beautifully done. Loki now down there. We're going to move the mid lane to bottom. As Guwon should be able to collect his red buff pretty comfortably.
So we have like kind of a Klid situation here where all of the kills are on Guwon basically, where, yeah, he has a lot of money, but the fact that it's all on a Lee Sin isn't going to scale very well. It's basically a CC bot. You know, he can do a decent amount of damage. He has a Gore Drinker, so he can live longer, but his kicks were going to work whether he had that Gore Drinker or not, or they had these 4 kills or not. Those feel like HLE could slip out of control of this game if they lose just 1 or 2 of these Drakes in the mid game.
And he's only ahead by like 400 gold. Pretty crazy. As Hanwha, they are going to be able to get some work done on this outer turret in mid lane. They've got a couple of Drakes as well, and it's Earth, Wind, and Fire. As far as like old music references, like we're doing pretty well.
Yeah. Back-to-back Mountain Souls here too.
Yeah. September or Group tonight, as far as your Earth, Wind, and Fire preferences?
Honestly, Group tonight.
Yeah, I'm a huge Group tonight fan, man.
I think after all the movies I've watched with Group tonight in it, just really sold me.
Yeah, real good. Okay, we got a teleport coming forward from both sides. And there is the Rift Herald, secured by Gen.G somehow, as Winner is going to get tagged. Let's see whether Loki goes back in. Of course he does. As now Rooster's trying to get out. The hostile takeover is massive. The knock-up from the kick, just so beautiful. And Silas is going to be taken out. In goes Guan. He manages to quickness himself. It's not exactly the play that you want, but sometimes the Rakan is so charming, you just want a second dose. Carpe, oh, there it is. Gives him the thumbs up before he murders him.
Oh man, that was the moment where they kind of looked each other in the eyes.
That's
on the
confirmed
Rift.
that Guan is Maverick.
He is.
Goose wouldn't do that.
No. Loki's Goose, it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Poor Carfe, like he spent this entire series being like, everyone else died and I'm Jin. If I was a different AD carry, maybe I would do something here, but they haven't had the great setups that they had last game. This teleport is so incredibly late from Quid. And then Rooster just lives for so long. He's renekted. He's got the heal.
Oh, Gore Drinker as well.
Yeah, he finally built it, and this kick.
The hostile takeover on the whole team as well.
This comp just doesn't work against Renata. It's like actually hard countered by one champion.
Yeah. Just really cool that they had the tech to bring back out though, because we just haven't seen very much Renata, and it just shows that 13.4 might bring her back just a little bit as well as, yeah, Carpe knew that there was no way that he could handle.
It was just really good drafting from HLE. Like the coaching staff after game 1 was probably like, you know what would be amazing into their pylon composition, and not pylon from StarCraft, but like pile on top of them, like just dog pile, is a Renata.
Yeah.
Just hold that and the fight is won.
I feel like Renata is an amazing challenges champion for that reason. It just works.
This Lee is cracked, yeah, most of the time. Most of the time.
Who is Iceman in this metaphor? I was actually just thinking about that. I think Iceman has to be on the other team. Maybe Iceman in this game is Zest. Because Zest is the only one that, and also like, doesn't Zest come into like the story like later as well, like a little bit? Sorry, did Iceman come into the story a little bit later?
Yeah, no, I could see that. I could see that for sure. Zest is gonna also come back in the sequel in 20 years.
Yeah. He's going to be struggling. He's like not going to be able to speak as well as he used to and stuff like that, but he's still just going to be great. God, I love Val Kilmer. Man, he's been in some really good films.
So you did see the sequel then to
Yeah.
Okay. To Top Gun. I did too. It was actually like surprisingly pretty good.
Probably one of the better sequels like I've ever watched. Like you compare that to the Independence Day sequel and it's like, whoa! There are some differences here.
It's funny too, there's a Rooster in the sequel, but there's an HLE Rooster as well.
True. Whoa.
I wonder if he was a Top Gun movie fan. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure he made that. I know he made that ID before the movie came out for a fact.
But it was super popular here in Korea.
Yeah, everybody watched it.
But he was definitely already a player, wasn't he? He's been playing.
Yeah, he was.
Ooh, they managed to nail Lure, but look at this. You just can't engage onto Duro. He just presses R, and they all struggle. Glacial Prison comes forward, but now Guon's in the backline searching for something. As Loki, he's found Carpe yet again, and Guon's still alive. Come on, just kill at least the Lee Sin, but he has a safeguard. He's fine, and another just beautiful hostile takeover. Call it. Oh man, the good guys won real fast in this one. If they really do represent, you know, the same sort of characters from our Top Gun references that we've been going for.
It's true that the Top Gun doesn't really have a lot of moral gray areas for its villains, does it? It's just like, they are the bad. We will defeat them.
Yeah.
Like in the second one as well, like there's just like nothing. There's like no faces to them. They are like just. They're like, what if we just took the trench run from Star Wars and made it a bad? Yeah, they were like, we're just gonna beat the trench run from Star Wars, except in a Top Gun movie. Yeah, and that's the bad.
Yeah, that's the bad.
It's really hard. Like,
trust us, guys. They're the bad guys.
Yeah. They were like womp rats to get taken out by the T-16.
Oh my god,
this fight is amazing for Gen.G or for HLE. And
do you know why they're the good guys? Because the history books are written by the winners.
Yep.
And so we're only seeing it from the Humble Life Esports perspective.
I'm still thinking I'm going to have to vote for Guwon right now, but I want to vote for Duro. This is kind of like last game where I want to vote for Duro, but it's just not right.
Can we somehow put in a vote for Guwoki?
Yeah, they have been quite the duo, haven't they?
Yeah. With one, you...
Their names are really hard to combine, though. They really are.
Yeah. Lowan?
Gookie?
Lowan?
Wait, Lowan? That's hard, though.
Luwan? Yeah, I like Goki. Goki's kind of good. Sounds like a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Yeah, it could be all right.
Or a Dragon Ball Z reference. Do they say Dragon Ball Z in Britain?
You would know. I mean, you guys say Z in Australia, right?
We say Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, so they probably also say
But
Dragon
mainly
Ball Z.
because it's in the theme song, you know? As Loki looking for a flank.
This is such a hard fight for Gen.G. Hostile takeover is ready.
Yep. Imagine trying to walk up. It's so difficult. Loki's still sitting on that flank. There's the kick flash to come through there. Hostile takeover was stolen and then used, but here's the real one, and it's not going to find the value that it's been finding all game. It doesn't really matter, though, because look at the size of their wallets. It's absurd. The curtain call is going to be picked up, but now it's point blank, and Carfe is just going to have his hand shanked and shanked? Hand shaken and then almost taken off. Yeah,
shanked.
I think that's hand shanked, though. I actually kind of love that.
I like it.
That was a bit Freudian,
yeah.
Bit of a mistake, but I think it's kind of a representation of what happened.
Thank you very much, is what he said as he did it. That was a really nice follow-up there on what was a weaker ultimate from Duro this time, but they wanted to wait, it looks like, for the hijacked ultimate from Quid first, so Quid's hostile takeover comes through. And HLE have this Baron at half health when this happens, so they're kind of like, all right, just hold this Baron here. And then they force this engage with the kick, so Quid has to hostile takeover. His angle is good, but it doesn't actually hit Guwon or Loki, who are the main characters of this story, as we've already said. Yep. Then the follow-up hostile takeover doesn't matter, but they got him in a choke, and this is when Carpe's like, choke point value, I'm Jin! Nah, Jin tricked y'all using an 80 carry. And,
yeah.
No.
He's just a wannabe who looks like one.
I think I'm gonna vote for Guwon, but it's like really, I don't know, it's hard. I want to vote for both of them.
Yeah, me too. Maybe I'll vote for one, you vote for the other.
Yeah, that's what Valdez and I did last time. We had this conundrum. Okay, yeah. I like it.
That's super easy. There's a kickback. Guwon's going in. Don't know about that, but the rest of his team is going to be here. Look at them lining up for the Akali. Gets into his shroud. He's bounced around. Goes golden in the end, and now it's the Crocodile's turn. Duro, can you offer any support here? Do you need to? Is kind of the question, as Loki's looking for even more. Flashing forward now. That's the double kill for the Akali. Rooster's going to chase down Sejuani. And this is going to be the end of the game. Akali died. I'm not sure about that, but that's fine. Still giving him a vote.
We already figured out he was Goose, so he had to have one death this game, or it's not canon.
Spoilers from an 80s movie.
He had to have one death. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Tom Cruise makes it to the movie 20 years later.
This is just the confirmation that he was indeed Goose. We already kind of knew, we had an idea, but this confirms that he's actually Goose.
Well, I'm voting for Guwon. You got the Loki vote.
Yep. I'm still
with the one death. I'm keeping the perfect KDA on the vote.
Yeah. I was always a fan of Goose anyway, you know. It's all right. Let's see how this all went wrong. Because I was just looking at this the whole time thinking perfect execution value, perfect execution value.
They
never
setting
quite
a trap.
found the line.
The problem with setting a trap like this is you get wrapped around on it and there's no escape against this comp that has such insane chases. Zest actually pulls Loki.
The ult out was sick.
He has to stopwatch, but this is still just great follow-up, and Rooster's
0-3-0 at the start of the game.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, like, how much he's been able to do. This is Renekton in a team comp that's ahead. Doesn't matter how far behind he is if he can do his job. It's unfortunate.
Oh, close. Still doesn't really matter that Loki fell down there. As the inhibitor, it's going to go in the mid lane. And can Hanwha actually go for any sort of siege? The answer is no, because they don't want to. Going to just look for this top lane. Got another 10 seconds left on this Baron buff. A 4,000 gold Baron power play is not too bad at all.
No. Little known fact, this Top Gun fan stream sometimes comments on the stats of LCK CL games as well.
No.
Sometimes.
Don't believe them.
Casters, I love you. Sorry for calling you Caster. Haha.
Haha.
I love the haha emote.
You're okay, Slim. It's fine. We'll forgive you for now. As long as you tell everyone of your friends to follow the stream.
Yep.
On Twitch.
That's what we gotta do. Gotta keep growing.
Yep. Be nice, smiley face, says Valdez. All right, we are going to get a kick handshake onto Zest, which means he goes basically nowhere at all. Hostile takeover also means winner is running away because that's where the rest of his team are.
They're like, oh, we have to kill the turret, or just go where one's already dead in mid.
And they also have minions that are prepped already. Quid standing in front of this one as Rooster is just feeling so comfy. He's been through the fire and flames this game. That early game was not an easy one for him, and Zest is going to get pulled back. Man, this Renata value is absurd. Maybe I'm just voting for Duro, dude. I don't know. Maybe that's what Loki's just... What? Goose! Goose, no! Not again! That was, that's not really where he wanted to go. As Rooster's going to dive forward one more time. Grand entrance going to be there. The flash out from Guan. I don't think he did connect to Q. He does safeguard his way out. Yeah, the Nexus can be shot, but sometimes we want to have a good time first. As Lua, he's splashing! He's getting kills! Maverick dies as well! Oh, God!
Spoilers to when Tom Cruise is 80.
Yeah, right.
In the third movie, one? Top Gun 3. All right.
That's all right. We're just going to dance around a little bit.
We did it in the end. HLE.
The 2-0.
And this will secure KT Rolster and D+ a spot in playoffs for round 1.
You're eating soup. How do you eat soup?
Yeah, I usually drink it.
Yeah.
I made sweet and sour chicken with pineapple. It was great, says Kron Oneklur.
Why doesn't Kron Oneklur have a smiley face at the end of that sentence? I feel like there needs to be a smiley face.
I don't like pineapple, so it makes me a little bit sadder as Nagne is on stage with his boys.
Yeah, there they are. And look, it wasn't a great time for Gen.G, but honestly, I think that Hanwha have gone from strength to strength this season. They've
really
been
have.
A bit of a surprise with how well they've been playing, and I like the consistency that even in games that they haven't necessarily won, they have kept them competitive the majority of the time. And it's really good to see. I think that Renata pick, man, oh my God. If it wasn't for the Bash Bros being so good, Goose and Maverick really stealing the show, like, Danger Zone Renata really would have gotten my vote. There's 3 really good votes this game.
I agree. I thought this was a pretty fun series because it evolved. Like, we got to see 2 similar drafts, but the opposite matchups, obviously in mid and top, and then we got to see the Renata come in as this really cool tech, expecting Gen.G was just going to walk into it. They did. So I was happy with it overall, even though it was kind of a one-sided affair. Still fun.
Yundo asks where Zeka is.
Where's Zeka?
Yeah.
Where's Kingen?
Where's
Samdi?
We haven't actually we haven't answered all these questions. You know, I don't know where Zeka is. I don't know whether there's room on the alpaca farm or the camel farm. The camel farm in New Zealand that Chovy's running. I think it might be there.
I heard that Zeka is actually getting into milking cows and is trying to start a milk, like a dairy farm, because he's into cheese.
So he's got a dairy farm. Where is that? Somewhere in Europe, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or the Midwest of the U.S.
Okay.
There's like not a whole lot of other places it could be except like South America maybe, but he wants to stay away from all the other LCK players doing llama farms and stuff like that over there.
Fair enough. Guwan's going to pick it up. All right. Sometimes you just have to give it to the main character, and he was Maverick this time. 10,
DPM
1, and 12.
666 with that.
Oh,
with that expression that he's got as well, man. I like I said, my vote was for Guwan. You voted mid. I voted jungle.
Yeah. I'm just hoping I don't see him in the elevator later on, dude. That would scare me a lot.
Make sure he gets on the shuttle bus before you.
I'm glad that our studio is a little bit further away from the actual venue. That makes my life a whole lot safer.
That's my face when Atlas didn't vote for me.
Yeah.
Look at his kill participation, 95.7. Crazy.
It was all over the place, and this was after a bit of a worrying time in the first one. As yep, there would have been an interview, however, we cancelled it. We brought them on stage, and then they said we don't have translation, so the entire interview is in fact cancelled. We're not here buying time while the interview happens off screen. They cancelled it straight up. They do it every time. They bring out the players. They're like interview time. They're like, shoot.
So when Chronicler plays solo queue, he tells people that he's not doing anything league related, and I think that's like fairly true. Like if solo queue is usually not anything related.
Back to not doing anything league related. Have fun for so now he's going off to
Yeah,
play
he's
solo
going to play
queue.
solo queue, but like I guess it's like solo queue is basically not related to League of Legends in any way. It's just like your own like mental challenge, and like it's like a understanding humanity problem where you're like, like can I solve humanity? You're like, no, definitely not, and you walk away.
I don't think my experience playing League of Legends has anything to do with my job. Just doesn't have anything to do with it at all.
Yeah, it's not really
I don't get the same outcomes in any way of what happens when I watch professional League of Legends, and none of it makes sense.
Why is everyone talking about Cadril canceling people?
Who was cancelled by Cadril?
I don't understand.
I don't know.
I love you, Wolf. You're like the second coming, or you're like second coming of Monte Cristo. That's high praise. I don't know if that's accurate, but I appreciate it. Atlas, it's Chovi's alpaca farm in New Zealand, not llama farm.
I said alpaca farm. What? No, it's a camel farm. No. The alpaca farm is Deft's in Tasmania, Alexander. Keep up. We've been talking about this for weeks. Deft has a alpaca farm because he's Deft, and it's in Tasmania for the beautiful weather and scenery. And then Chovy has a camel farm in New Zealand because he really likes Lord of the Rings. Come on, we knew this. Oh, it was Cadril that cancelled the interview. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, Cadril canceled the interview with the players. That's really messed up.
Wow. Well, at least we know that.
No, it's not. One day we'll have an official interpreter. We don't have one at this moment in time, nor a really good system to have them pumped into our audio. So one day.
Yeah.
And I mean, Valdez and I can translate pretty well, but we don't like to do things pretty well here at the LCK. We like to do them very well. So.
Yeah, or not at all. Or somewhat poorly. But we like to think that we're capable of doing it pretty well.
Yundo might give you guys like the TLDR, like if anything interesting happened in the interview, maybe he'll tell you.
And it's hard with translation like that as well, because like sometimes like there's a lot on the line for translating those sort of things. Like if you get like a couple of words like mixed up in your head while you're listening, while you're talking and listening at the same time, then you can say like the opposite of what a player means or something like that. And like that could be really bad, you know?
It's really...
I wouldn't want that burden of responsibility.
When you translate too, like when Worlds interviewers translate, for example, when G-Sun translated Worlds, the broadcast waits for her to tell the audience what's happening. But we translate following a feed.
Yeah.
Like, they just keep talking. So, you like, what G-Sun does in the LCK is, like, incredibly difficult because she has to listen and translate, and then while speaking, listen in another language and remember what the player is saying while she's actively speaking.
Yeah.
Like, it's
and
the
while she's
hardest
actively translating
exactly.
in her brain as well.
It's really hard.
Whereas Deer is also really good at it as well, who was on the last night. But it's so hard.
When you do stage translations, it's still hard. Don't get me wrong, but it's like much easier because like the person waits for you to say it, and then the interview continues.
Yeah, you just get to listen to them and like, oh, how am I going to phrase this? What am I going to do? And then you keep going. That's why like people like Smix as well from like who was just doing DreamHack. She's also really, really good at it, but she does have that space and she gives it to herself.
Yeah.
Which is also like really, really cool whenever she translates for the Korean players as well. So yeah, Ji-sun, pretty good at what she does. Outside of that, we've got a bit of a longer break now, I think.
Yeah, we do. And you and I are going to have to go eat dinner. I am starving.
Yeah, I'm real hungry. I think it's pizza.
It's going to be pizza today.
Bit of pizza?
Valdez banned pizza, which is fine. Like, we don't get to eat pizza anymore because Valdez is like, we had too much pizza.
My fiance also banned pizza, so I'm like super psyched. It's like my day out with the boys, like finally get to eat some pizza.
Yeah.
She didn't actually ban pizza, just she's not into it that much.
To defend Valdez, we were eating pizza every week, and it's not the most healthy food you can eat, but he was like, I want to take a break from it, take a step back. So we got some more food diversity. But I'm ready to go back to pizza with you.
I just want Subway every day. I have a problem. I actually do.
That was actually me. I used to eat Subway like back in the States as well at work. There was a Subway really close to the office I worked at, so I would go like every day. And then in Korea, there was always a Subway near where I lived when I first moved here.
I remember I used to go to that one when we both used to live a little bit closer.
Used to go like all the time, and I would even get Subway delivered to my house if I was too busy to go there. So close to my house, but I would get it delivered.
Yep, I know the feeling. I remember when Subway came to my town in Australia for the first time, and my mate in high school was like, "Dude, you have to try this thing."
What year was
called
that?
Subway. It was would have been like 2004, 2002. There was already Subway in Australia, but it wasn't, as far out as my place that early. And we got our first one, and it was like mind blowing.
Where I grew up, there was no sort of deli food. Like there was no Subway system where you go in and you choose what you want to have on your sandwich.
Like ride a train.
Yeah, this existed before Subway, of course, and there were other sandwich shops, but I never had that before I went to Subway as a kid. So I was like, well, this is really cool. Then when I got to the end, they were like, you can have a cookie and potato chips. And as a very young kid, I was like, oh, yes! Because I'm a very picky eater. And WDG knows this too, because whenever we get Subway, I'm like, make sure it's exactly right.
Yeah.
But I was like, no one could put stuff on my sandwich that I don't like, and I can get a cookie and Doritos at the end? Yes!
Yes! Today rules, man! Perfect. Yeah, I wasn't really the cookie guy, because I'm a Subway that just has everything. I'm just give everything, all of the things into the sandwich.
So you like the Korean method where they just ask you what you don't want, and they're like, is there anything you don't want? You just say no.
Yeah.
So easy. The easiest
it's
Subway
super
ever.
easy. It's super easy. I love it. Valdez had the superior eating. I didn't eat a lot of Subway as a kid because there were a billion. Yeah, and I've been to a New York deli now, and I know that it's basically Subway, but good.
Yeah.
Gooder.
Dude,
just a
New York
bit gooder.
pizza, New York delis.
I had the experience finally, because it's been hard, right? Being in Korea with Valdez, and him just, whenever he says yeah, but you haven't tried the thing in New York, and I'm like, well, I haven't, because I'm an Australian now in Korea. What do you expect? I've been everywhere. But now I have been to New York.
Yeah.
I have tried some things, and they were great. And now I sort of understand.
I love how in New York you can get all sorts of types of food. Like, for example, Chinese food you can get in New York. You can get American Chinese food.
That Korean food's actually pretty good.
So you can get fake, American Chinese food, but you can get authentic Chinese food. You can get really good Korean food. You can get you can get Korean style fried chicken. You can get the American styled Korean styled fried chicken. You know what I'm talking about? You can get everything.
Whoa. That's nutty.
New York's great.
Yeah.
Very expensive, and I don't get to go very often, but
if you have infinite money, it's the best city in the world. If you don't have infinite money, don't go there.
It's hard.
Well, no, and we don't have infinite money, but you definitely need to budget.
Does anyone does anyone in the chat know what the going price for a hot dog in New York is right now?
Oh god.
Because when I was a kid, when I went there for the first time, it was $6 or $7, and this is a million years ago. So that was outrageously high. It's still, if you think about it, just a hot dog at a stand outrageously high. Somebody's about to tell me it's $20 or something in the current economy. I'll be like, ah!
Oh,
I don't know.
God.
Somebody know how much hot dogs are going for.
Please, someone tell us. I didn't actually get one. I didn't get a hot dog when I was in New York. I didn't trust it. I was too scared.
Why are the hot dogs so expensive? I don't know, because it's New York.
Yeah, you may as well.
$12? Okay.
So it's doubled in that time, which is not that. That's actually
3 years ago.
$10 3 years ago, and last per checked, it was more than double.
I was gonna joke it's $37. Now I'm worried it is.
Well, if you want to think about it in Australian dollars, it's probably about that. Oh, they're $2.50 at Bunnings. I remember when they were $1. What? It's $2.50.
Yeah, it's hard.
You bring $2 to get a sausage and bread, right, with sometimes some onions, tomato sauce, right, which is the god tier. That's the best sausage and bread you can get at Bunnings. But it was normally that was $1, and then you get home brand cola as well from the Esky on the side. God, Bunnings.
So is Bunnings like
sausage is so good.
Is Bunnings like the Wawa of Australia?
It's like home. It's a hardware store pretty much.
It's a hardware store, okay, but they have like a cafeteria or like
Nope.
a cafe attached?
They just sometimes have people out the front that make you sausages.
Okay.
That's about it.
So it's like there are people at the front of this hardware store selling food.
Yeah.
Because you got to go early in the morning to get your materials to do hardware things, do construction or whatever, and then...
Cancel culture almost got onions cancelled at Bunnings? How does that even work, Joshy?
Wait, what?
I'm so confused. How do you cancel onions? They're in every food. Oh, God.
Speaking of food, it might be time for us to go eat.
Oh, now I'm never going to know. Okay, so we'll find out about why onions were cancelled after this short break. We'll see you back for our next series and the conclusion of the onion saga. Goodbye.